what's in the best interest of the student body, which is what we've all been elected to do. Several months ago and last year, I asked about why we only get a certain period of time to campaign. The reason for that is because campaigning takes away from the time every student can put on academics. Campaigning takes away from what each of these guys can put into their current positions: services vice president, academic vice president, and president of graduate school council. I strongly encourage you to take that into consideration when you go to vote for this. Yes, Jerry?
Just making sure I'm in the queue.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
And also, if we're discussing the Kent students, I don't see why we can't just have the Kent students vote. And also,
and that's fine for me, by the way.
what would have made this case, what would have made this resolution a lot stronger is if you could have brought proof that all 96 students were going to vote and we're going to vote for you. Given the percentage of votes in the SGA elections, 20%, never have we had more than 20% of the entire student body vote. Take an average call, take AMS. What is the average student population that votes? 15 to 20. If 15 to 20% of Kent school votes. Okay, let's just prove that. But I'm saying, even if all of Kent school voted, even if they all voted for you, Travis, I had a conversation with Alex Romer. There is a violation out there currently that you should be getting an email about. That if the decision of the court is similar to what was decided during Curtis's case, and if they take 1.5% of votes away from you, that still would not do anything. And we've spent the past 2 hours discussing something that's not even relevant. We all represent students, and we want Kent students to vote. Let's just focus on Kent school. That's all I have.
I have a point of clarification, just a constitutional clarification. For us to have actually asked the students who they're going to vote for would have been unconstitutional because it would remove their privacy. And I would not feel comfortable doing that.
You said that you had students. The reason why this resolution was written was because you had students telling you that they couldn't vote for Travis.
We had students telling us that they couldn't vote. We had one student saying, I wanted to vote for this person. We are asking that all students be enabled to vote. We did not ask that. We did not ask.
I'm not against that. And I don't think anybody in here is against
well, anybody can think what they want, but this is about them.
If you ask for Travis to submit that all the Kent students were going to vote for him, which seems a violation of the Constitution and high school.
I take that back.
Okay.
Everything else I said.
But she said that
I
she
still
wanted
make
clarification that all 96 students would vote, not vote for Travis, but would vote.
Okay, let's change it.
Okay, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
I have a second constitutional point. Campaigning isn't allowed in the Senate, and I do believe the bringing up the campaign violations, swinging back and forth, that sort of thing, is kind of on the border of campaigning. That makes me a little uncomfortable as a senator. Just saying.
Christina, did you have your...
Yes, it's just mainly just to reiterate something. Yes, the Kent schools got an email, or supposedly got an email saying, hey, you can vote through email, but I know I personally don't get a lot of the UofL emails since I switched to card mail. So how do we know that every single one of the Kent school students received that email saying you can vote by email?
Point of clarification, the Senate or the Supreme Court can't control that. If they said that they sent out the email to all the students, you can't control that.
Point of order, that's not a point of clarification.
It is a point of clarification.
Point of order. Point of order. Who has the floor?
Christina.
I'm not going to comment to that because it wasn't.
Christina, do you have any other?
No, that's it.
Allison.
I had a lot of things to say initially, but really all I want to say is can we please just focus on things that are productive and constructive? Who believes that Kent schools should vote? Okay, let's start there. Let's start there. Because my suggestion, I'm not saying that this has to be the way that everyone thinks. Why can't we enable Kent school to vote? Their votes will then go towards the initial presidential balloting, which happened last week. Based on those totals, we can plan for a runoff between whoever the top two will be once Kent school votes are taken into account. Okay, voting turnout will be lower. A lot of people aren't interested in doing this all over again. I understand, but we can all agree that Kent get that done as opposed to what's constitutional, what's not constitutional, who's right, who's campaigning, who's not campaigning. We can be a lot more productive here tonight and not tear each other apart.
Are you making an amendment?
Yes, I'd like to make an amendment in some form or fashion that would enable Kent School to vote
Is it
Online,
online.
Is it friendly tracks?
Yeah, I will accept that as a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
Just fast track on it.
We still have forum.
Yes. As far as the ones who have told me that they've left, can I see a show of hands of proxies and senators? No, we do not. No, okay, we hit it with them. Yes, we're good.
Somebody guard the doors.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey guys,
Kids will be allowed to vote after spring break, Monday.
I think, yeah, that way it gives everybody, ample time this week, and then they can vote next week. That way there's at least a Friday, Saturday interim where this voting time has been advertised, because you mentioned that they come to school on the weekend. So, it's advertised now, people have the ability to advertise it on Facebook if they will as well. The first week we come back, I would suggest a Tuesday to Thursday. The runoff is then announced on Friday, and the final runoff between whatever two candidates will take place the following week. So the second week back to spring break.
Parliamentary inquiry. What is the minimum amount of time from setting election dates that the election can be held?
I make a motion to suspend the rules and have the election as she just stated.
Parliamentary inquiry. Are you allowed to suspend the Constitution?
I think you cannot suspend the bylaw unless it states specifically that it can be suspended.
I guess in the end, the Senate could pass what they want, and actually the court has to determine whether it's constitutional or not.
It's not involved the court, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
John, we're gonna let you speak because out of this list, you're the only one who hasn't spoken yet. So I'm gonna bump you up and then I'll go back into the list. My flag has written down.
I think the biggest thing with allowing Kent School to just re-vote is that some of them have already voted, like Curtis said. I know people that have, and I don't know if Travis does or not. Then they would be double counting their votes, and like you pointed out earlier, it's then letting them realize how many votes is required. So I think it would take something like 2.5 times the turnout of the student body for this to be relevant as far as the actual votes go. And so I think that is, I think that makes it unfair as well. They had the ability to vote, whether it was via email or in the office, and they had the ability to vote. So I don't think that it's voter disenfranchisement.
While he's doing that, Jared, do you have something to say that doesn't?
That amendment was friendly, correct?
Yeah.
All right, I have an amendment to make, and that kind of is going to change my amendment. I move to strike that, and at the end of per 601, the bylaws, the earliest allowable voting time, I move to substitute earliest allowable voting time to be substituted with the dates of, I lost my place here, April 12th through 14th.
Well, is there a second to that amendment?
Second.
Okay. And we have lost quorum.
Guys, that took far too long.
What's the
We lose
rules for
quorum.
losing quorum? Lawyers look at the Constitution, what's the rules of losing quorum?
I would think you could take that.
But some bodies are allowed to, once you lose quorum, you lose it.
I don't know. If you look in the Constitution, I'm not.
How do we do that?
I'm allowed to suspend the rules.
Actually, you can take action, I believe.
Is it a bylaw?
As long as it's been ratified by the Senate the next time around.
One
But we
must
can't.
maintain
I don't think you can do
One
it.
must maintain the
You always pull out the Constitution, and make sure.
We have to re-ratify it. Like everything we do now is
quorum,
but then we could pass it.
Right.
But I think we can't pass it, we just can't, we just have to re-ratify it.
Unless you say that before I start speaking, so if you use it, I will sue you.
I don't have any.
This is an open meeting.
In absence of
This is
quorum,
an open meeting.
1/5 of total voting senators may issue a call.
He likes to complain and threaten to sue
What did you say? No.
you. Said he was going to threaten to sue you.
Which means we require them to be here?
Is that true? Does the lawyer know if that's true?
What it means is call.
I don't know the rules here, so.
I mean,
It's an open meeting, I'm allowed to record it.
hey, is that acceptable to you, Allison? I think it must have, but if that's acceptable, Ross. Okay.
You don't have to, from what I know, you don't have to provide
Do what?
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Daniel, what happens if we lose quorum? How do we deal with that?
Is that this question?
If
We are finding that out.
in the middle of a discussion.
Call of the
I
house.
mean, y'all are much too sophisticated here for us.
Okay, point of information. Call of the house is, according to Wikipedia, which I love, is a procedure may be used as necessary to obtain a form of legislatures. It's a legal power to compel the attendance of their members, which they have.
We lose quorum.
Can somebody call it a special emergency meeting like we always do, like?
Deep can, as long as there's 48 hours notice provided. We
I
can
mean, could we do it, I mean, like, it would be unappealing to everybody, but like,
You would have to have quorum then to.
Although, we don't need quorum for a call. If we would accept a vote by the people who are currently here as a general consensus.
but it would still have to be.
It'd be ratified.
Right. We have to have
So we can't amend it, right?
But we can have a call. We can't make it next.
The amendment was on the floor.
This is on there. Everything else is on
I think it'd be a friendly amendment. It goes throughout, actually.
So this is friendly though, right?
there.
So then we have to approve this resolution. And then further
It's just, if there's also change, it still is going to be taught, unless you run off with people right now.
Allison, is that acceptable? Well, no, I mean, what
She said if there's no change after, guys, we still have meeting going on, please. She said if there's no change in the results after Kent School votes, then the runoff election goes as is right now, and we can just use the same results that we get from this Tuesday to Thursday.
We
repeat that?
Is that friendly, Travis?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Danielle?
Will you repeat that? For all the
Well,
stuff?
I
It's
just have
any
a
time.
question based on what John mentioned, which is that because some of the school students did already vote, like would they be double voting? But then if we look up who voted, who didn't vote, then that's
I could
the
clarify.
fact that.
I mean, those students that were, and let's be clear, it's undergraduate, and thank you for typing that, it's undergraduate only Kent School students. Because they were locked out of that voting, they would have had to submit via email, so there would be a record of that, so you could see,
But if we look up that they.
and not you
voted-
could see, but the administrator could see,
We can-
Frank could see if they voted to keep them from voting again.
From my understanding of the way voting works, just to clarify, if we know the people who've already voted, Frank could exclude them from the election so they can't vote again.
I can't guarantee that, but he could, I guess he
I'm
could
pretty
try
sure
that.
that he can.
Yeah, but he could try, he could set it up just for
Would
individuals.
that like be not okay with the fact that then we can see that they voted and they're like,